Welcome to this course OC MBA 112 Business Data Analysis for Management Science. Week 4, Lecture 5. Difference between correlation and regression by Dr. K. Sankar Singh.
We are going to discuss correlation. So what is correlation? Correlation is a statistical measure that indicates the extent to which two or more variables fluctuate together if two series vary in such a way that fluctuations in one are accompanied by the fluctuations in the other. These variables are said to be correlated. Like rise in price of a commodity reduces its demand and vice versa. Some relationship exists between age of husband and wife, rainfall and production. Two variables are said to be correlated if the change in one variable results in a corresponding change in the other variable. According to A.M. Tuttle, analysis of covariance of two or more variables is usually called correlation. Otherwise, the simple relationship between the two or more variables is called correlation. Now, what are the properties of correlation and correlation coefficient? Properties of correlation coefficient is as follows. The first one, the relationship between the two variables is called correlation. The correlation coefficient values always lies between -1 and +1. It is independent of change of origin and scale. And the correlation between x and y is equal to correlation between y and x. That is, r of x comma y is equal to r of y comma x. All the correlation values lies between -1 and +1. It is independent of change of origin and scale. R of x comma y equal to r of y comma x. These are the properties of correlation coefficient. Then regression. Definition of regression. Regression analysis is a vital statistical method for obtaining functional relationship between a dependent variable and one or more independent variables. More specifically, regression analysis helps one to understand how the typical value of the dependent variable changes when any one of the independent variables is varied, while the other independent variables are held fixed. It helps to determine the impact of changes in the value of the independent variable upon changes in the value of the dependent variable. Regression analysis is widely used for prediction. So, what is the basic definition of regression? The linear or average relationship between two or more variables is called regression. In this regression, we can fit the two type of regression equations, namely regression equations of x on y and regression equation of y on x. Now, properties of regression coefficients. Correlation coefficient is the geometric mean between the regression coefficient. That is, the geometric mean of the two regression coefficient is equal to the correlation coefficient. That is, r equal to plus or minus square root of bxy into byx. It is clear from the property 1, both regression coefficient must have the same sign. Either they will positive or negative. If one of the regression coefficient is greater than unity, then the other must be less than unity. For example, bxy is greater than 1, automatically byx is less than 1. If bxy greater than 1, automatically the remaining value byx is less than 1. The next, the arithmetic mean of the regression coefficient is greater than the correlation coefficient. That is, bxy plus byx whole divided by 2 is greater than r. That is what arithmetic mean of the regression coefficient is greater than the correlation coefficient. So regression coefficient are independent of the change of origin but not scale. So these are the main properties of regression coefficients. Now we can compare their respective properties from correlation and regression. That is what the main difference between correlation and regression. In this slide, correlation, there are two columns are available. One is correlation and another one is regression. In correlation analysis, the degree and direction of relationship between the variables are studied. But in regression analysis, the nature of the relationship is studied. In correlation, if value of one variable is known, the value of the other variable cannot be estimated. But in the regression, if value of the variable is known, the value of the other variable can be estimated using the functional relationships. Correlation value lies between -1 and +1. But in the regression coefficient, one value is greater than 1 automatically and the other coefficient will be less than 1. Correlation is independent of change of origin and scale. But the regression is independent of change of origin but not scale. With the help of the correlation coefficient and standard deviation of two random variable, regression coefficient can be obtained. Then generally the arithmetic mean of the regression coefficient is always greater than the correlation coefficient. Similarly, the geometric mean of the two regression coefficients is equal to the correlation coefficient. So these are the main difference between correlation and regression. Thank you.